Welcome to English in Action, the podcast that helps you navigate real-life English conversations. I'm your host, Sarah Mitchell. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects travelers worldwide, conversations at the airport. And I'm thrilled to welcome our special guest, Professor James Collins, who has spent over 15 years researching traveler communication and has written 3 books on cross-cultural interactions at international airports. Welcome to the show, Professor Collins.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. I'm excited to share some practical insights with your listeners today.
Let's start with the basics. What are the most common types of conversations travelers need to handle at airports?
That's a great question, Sarah. At airports, travelers typically engage in 4 main types of conversations. First, there's check-in interactions with airline staff. Then we have security checkpoint conversations, conversations at immigration and customs, and finally, general information requests. Each of these requires different vocabulary and approaches. For example, at check-in, you might need to discuss your baggage weight, seat preferences, or connection flights. A typical conversation might go, "Hello, I'd like to check in for my flight to New York." Airline staff might reply as, "Of course, may I see your passport and ticket, please?" "Here you go." "Thank you." "Do you have any luggage to check in?" "Yes, I have 1 suitcase." The key here is to use polite phrases like, "Hello, may I?" and "Here you go." Politeness goes a long way in creating a smooth experience.
That's very helpful. Speaking of baggage, what are some common issues travelers face, and how can they communicate effectively about them?
Baggage issues are indeed a frequent concern. The key is to be clear and specific. Let me give you a real-world example. Instead of just saying, "My bag is lost," it's more effective to say something like, "I arrived on flight AA123 from London, and my black suitcase with a red tag hasn't appeared on the carousel. Here's my baggage claim ticket." This gives the staff all the essential information they need to help you.
That's excellent advice. Now, security checkpoints can be stressful for many travelers. What tips can you share for smooth communication there?
Security checkpoints are all about listening carefully and responding promptly. The key is to know common phrases and requests. For instance, you'll often hear, "Do you have any liquids in your bag? Please remove your laptop and place it in a separate bin. Do you have anything in your pockets?" Here's how you can respond. If security staff ask, "Do you have any liquids in your bag?" "Yes, I have a small bottle of hand sanitizer." Or, "No, I don't have any liquids." The best approach is to acknowledge what you've heard. If you're unsure, it's perfectly fine to say, "Could you please repeat that?" Or, "I'm not sure what you mean." For example, you can say, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please? I didn't understand. Can you explain?"
Let's talk about immigration conversations. These can be particularly intimidating for many travelers.
Absolutely, Sarah. Immigration conversations follow a pretty standard pattern, but preparation is key. You should be ready to answer the purpose of your visit, length of stay, where you'll be staying, return flight details, your occupation. For example, a typical exchange might go, if officer asks, "What's the purpose of your visit?" "I'm here for a 2-week business conference in Chicago." "Where will you be staying?" "At the Marriott downtown, 123 State Street." Always answer clearly and directly, providing just the information that's asked for.
What about more casual conversations at airports? People often need to ask for directions or information.
Yes, these everyday interactions are actually where many travelers struggle. The key is to start politely and be specific. Instead of just asking, "Where's the bathroom?" Try, "Excuse me, could you direct me to the nearest restroom?" Here are some useful phrases. "Excuse me, which way to gate B12? Could you tell me where I can find a currency exchange? I'm looking for the shuttle bus to the hotel area. Could you help?" Always listen carefully to the response, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification. "So, I turned right at the coffee shop, then left."
What about dealing with delays or cancellations? These can be emotionally charged situations.
Indeed, Sarah. The key here is to remain calm and focused. Here's an effective approach. "I understand my flight is delayed, canceled. Could you please tell me my options?" Listen to the alternatives offered. Ask specific questions about timing and compensation. Confirm your understanding. "So, just to confirm, I'm now booked on the 3 p.m. flight, and you'll provide meal vouchers.
That's fantastic, James. But before we wrap up, what's your number one tip for successful airport conversations?
My top tip is to always prepare key phrases and information in advance. Have your documents ready, know your flight numbers, and remember that clear, polite communication goes a long way. It's not just about knowing the words. It's about delivering them with the right tone and attitude.
This has been incredibly informative, Professor Collins. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure, Sarah. I hope your listeners find these tips helpful in their travels.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of English in Action. Remember, successful airport conversations are all about preparation, clarity, and staying calm. Whether you're checking in, going through security, or dealing with unexpected situations, the right words and approach can make your journey much smoother. Until next time, this is Sarah Mitchell reminding you that good communication can take you anywhere. Thanks for listening to English in Action.